All right, guys, yes, we are going to do some editing today. Now, normally, if you were in my class, we would be editing using Photoshop, which is fantastic for photography, or Lightroom, which is another Adobe software program that is great for photos. I am partial to Photoshop myself, but we'll be using those when we are here at school on computers. Now, if you have Photoshop at home or Lightroom at home, and you are good at using those, please, by all means, use those programs to edit your photos. Today, I'm going to do a demonstration on how to edit on your phone. So here we go. Let's hop over here to this screen. Now, I'm using an iPhone 7 Plus, and I'm simply going to edit using the pre-made software, but then I'm going to show you a couple other apps. In this video, I'm going to show you the things, or tell you the things that you should be editing in your photos. There's other things you can do to make them look unique or make them look more like your work, but I'm going to show you the topics that I want you to really focus on when editing on your phone. So I'm going to find a picture that's going to work real well here. There we go. I'm going to click Edit. Okay, it's thinking for me. So we've got some different options here. Okay, we have Auto Fix, we have Exposure. Use Exposure. It's the first thing I want you guys to edit. If it's too bright or too dark, you can change the exposure to either make it darker or make it brighter. So always check the exposure. Brilliance. That is going to be, if you look here, that's going to be kind of like the saturation of the colors, but also saturation plus contrast. So not something you have to manipulate, right? Shadows. I would always increase shadows in my photos, and I'm going to do some editing here in a second. These are just the topics I want you to attack or to tackle. Contrast. Photos look good with high contrast. So going through and increasing the contrast, that is going to be the brightness and the darkness separating out. So if your picture's kind of gray and nothing looks deep, if you make the highlights brighter and the shadows darker, your picture's going to have more visual depth by increasing the contrast. That's just taking, if I have dark gray and light gray, it looks okay, but if I take that dark gray and make it darker, take that light gray and make it brighter, you're going to increase the contrast and you're going to increase the depth and the quality of your photo. Okay? Brightness is similar to exposure, but brightness is going to emphasize the highlights. Exposure is going to emphasize or affect everything in your picture. So sometimes manipulate that. The black point is going to be manipulating your shadows individually, not something you have to do. You could just work on contrast. Okay, saturation. I like to desaturate my photos so they're darker and colder, but that's up to you. Vibrance is the intensity of the color, how bright it is. So saturation and vibrance are very similar. Okay, so those are some of the things that are an option on this phone. Okay. There are presets, we don't want that. And then there is cropping, right? So right down here's cropping. That's where you can change the size of your photo. So here we go. Here's the things I want you to focus on if you can. Make a list because it's in your assignment. 1, exposure. Adjust and make corrections. 2, contrast. Give your picture a little more contrast to give it more depth. Unless it's high contrast, give it a little less contrast. Saturation. Sometimes you should make your colors a little less saturated, so a little more gray. Sometimes you should make them a little more intense. So that's up to you. What's the style you're after? Sharpness. Are you able to go through and increase the sharpness of your photo? Not all apps can do that, but try it out if you can. Background blur. If you can create a background blur, sometimes that's really helpful. If your image is blurry, sometimes you can sharpen it. So work on that. So sharpness, right? And then lastly is cropping. Can you crop your picture to focus in on one particular area? So if you have a big picture and you're like, I really want to focus on this, go ahead and crop it. So those are the things I want you to focus on. If you can do more in your photos, do more. So here we go. Let's edit this picture. We're going to edit in 2 different apps. So let's just do this here. So this is auto, correct? I'm not even going to deal with that. Check the exposure. Nope, we're going to keep the exposure the same. Brilliance. Let's see here. Kind of depends what we're after. I kind of like the darker brilliance. So we're going to bring the brilliance down to -26. Highlights. Ooh, gross. Okay, we're gonna leave the highlights. We're gonna do just a little less bright. Again, I like cold photos myself and darker photos versus really bright photos. So shadows. So if I make the shadows bright, you can see how I've got more detail in my shadows. I'm gonna increase the shadows just ever so slightly. Contrast, low contrast, high contrast. That's too intense. I'm gonna just go to 5 on the contrast. So it's brightness, not even gonna touch that. Black point. So that is at what point does your shadow just become black. I'm gonna do a 4 on that. Saturation, ew, gross. Nope, too bright, too dull. We're gonna keep it right at 0 on my saturation. Vibrance. Now I am gonna increase the vibrance just ever so slightly. That way the blues on the rocks, the reflection of the sky, are a little more intense. Warmth, I'm actually gonna make it a little, no, you know what? I'm gonna go a little warmer on this one. Let those greens pop a little bit. Tint, nope, nope, gross. Gonna keep it right at 0. Sharpness out. I could really increase the sharpness here. I'm gonna get more texture on the rocks. If your picture's kind of blurry, it's always kind of nice. If you over sharpen it, you're gonna get a lot of digital noise and pixelation. So be careful, unless that's what you're going for, then it's okay. Definition. So this is where if your picture is blurry or fuzzy, you can kind of improve it a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little more crisp because they're rocks and they're wet. I want them to have a lot of texture. So I'm gonna increase the definition. Noise reduction. I'm gonna go to 60%. You're not gonna see it on this phone, but potentially, if I print it off, it might help reduce some of the digital noise or pixelation. Lastly, vignette. A little vignette could be kind of fun. Bright vignette, dark vignette. Just gonna have a little bit of dark vignette. Now I could go over here and do some pre-tones or pre-made filters. I'm not gonna do that. And then crop it. I kind of like exactly how it is. If you do a good job taking your picture in the first place, you don't have to worry about cropping it. Okay, so I'm gonna say, come back over here, make sure those are all what I wanted them to be. Yep. Just a little bit there. Nothing there. Okay. And I'm gonna click done. It's gonna save my photo. There we go. Save, 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 save. I did a lot to it, so it's gonna take a little while to save here. There we go. You know, I'm gonna show you Snapseed. At this point, if you have an app that you like, you can kind of just not watch this part of the video. If you're like, yeah, I need some more ideas on how to edit, I'm gonna show you 2 that I really enjoy to use. I don't know where my focus went off to, but this is Snapseed. Tap anywhere to open a photo. Travel a lot. Okay, let's grab this one here. Okay, we're gonna use this one. So this is Snapseed, one of my favorites. So these are presets. Okay, I'm gonna do none of those. We're gonna do, I want to see how black and white would look. Oh, that's kind of cool, but I like the color. I like how it separates from the, now if I were to crop this and just have just the rocks, then that could be a good idea. But I'm gonna go with current, okay? Exit out of there. What's this? Oh, goodness gracious, tune image. There are a lot of options in this one here. So brightness, we're gonna bring the brightness down a little bit right there. Contrast, we're gonna increase the contrast a little bit there. Saturation, yeah, I'm gonna saturate it just a little bit. We're gonna try something different here. Ambiance, what's that do? Oh, interesting. I'm gonna increase the ambiance saturation just ever so slightly. Shadows, I like to have more shadows. There you go. I think it makes your pictures look more moody. Auto adjust, no, dang it. Dang it, I clicked auto adjust. That little wand apparently is auto adjust. Saturation. Saturate just a little bit. Contrast. A little less contrasty. Contrast right there. Brightness. There. Ambiance, remember we had that as a plus just a little bit. Man, I like how this would work with that blue. Okay, check. What else we got here? Details, let's sharpen this sucker up. Structure, wow, really intense. Sharpening, yeah, crank it up. Check. Hit the pencil. Curves, oh man, this is why I like Snapseed, guys. You can go through and really do some amazing editing. Curves are a way to adjust the colors and the hues inside your pictures. You can get real wild with them. I am not going to do anything with the curves on this particular photo. White balance, perspective, expand, select. Now I love this here. I can actually go through and select areas and make them brighter or darker. So what I'm going to do, delete. I'm going to put it on right at that area, right there. And I'm going to brighten up that rock ever so slightly. Okay, but then I'm going to add another one right here, and I am going to, now that's gross. Let's keep that as is. Okay, I can pick different areas to make adjustments to, so I'm going to keep that right there. What else we got here? Glimmer glow. Nope. Healing. Now this is better if I have, like, for example, it deletes things. So if you had a zit or some acne on your face, get that out of here. You could just click it and it would delete it off, just like Photoshop, which is really great. I'm gonna do HDR landscape this puppy. Nature. Really oh geez, that's cool. All right, I don't want to go too intense. And I can pick what I'm HDRing. That's nature, so obviously I'm going to stick with nature. What is glimmer glow? Let's find out. Okay, glimmer glow. It's like high fashion stuff. That's so ugly. I don't like that at all. Grunge. Let's get crazy. Let's make it a grungy photo. That's kind of fun. It's not what I want for this photo. I can pick where it's going to grunge at. You can see that. I don't want that, but very fun. Snapseed, by the way, I think it's free, so download it and use that right now. Gives you lots of options. Black and white, don't really want black and white. Head pose, no. Lens blur. You know, I think that's it. You could play around with these here. And let's save this picture. Save a copy. I want to save the copy so you can see the original. Successfully saved. All right, we've got one more app we're going to use. So scroll, scroll, scroll to focus. Calculating depth of field. So most likely, let's see here. Let's look at, compare free to pro. No, I'm not going to buy it. Let's see here. Vivid, transformation, aperture, lenses. I can pick a different lens. Well, that's fun. Aperture, shape. Ooh, more open. A little less open. There we go. And a little texture back there. Focus. I can pick what I focus on. I want to focus on these rocks up front. Right about there. Good. Shape, I don't want to deal with that. Highlights. Oh gosh. A little more highlights. Vivid. Increase the saturation ever so slightly. Transform. Let's throw a light bulb in this sucker. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at it's three-dimensional. Whoa, very cool. Unlock Pro. I don't know, maybe that won't let me do something here because I have not unlocked Pro. But let's add a light bulb. I think it's by month, which I'm not a fan of. Sunlight. No way. Turn that down. Okay, so these are things I can access if I'm a pro. I'm not going to pay money for the pro at the moment. What is this? Oh my gosh. Right. What are you going to make me do here? Oh my goodness. Front bokeh. Oh man. Guys, this is a complicated app. What do you got here? Wow. Close. Yeah, okay. Front bokeh. Alright, we're just going to go with that. And, oh, gee, minis. Patch. Alrighty. By the way, I don't know what this does. So, I've never used this app before. I think it's going to take a little while to try to understand what these do. And this is one reason we're doing this today, is so you guys can kind of play with... yeah, exit that. Aperture. There we go. Particular lens. Alright. And we're gonna save that one. Save a copy. So we got that compared to that. So a little more intense, a little more of a blur, kind of interesting. So I will go ahead and have every example up here so you can see all the befores and afters. What I want you guys to do is just take some time and edit 8 photos. And then you're gonna turn in those 8 photos. You're gonna have a before and an after in your Google Slides. This is due by 10:30 today. Okay, so you just gotta hop on, watch this video, which you are obviously doing, and then edit 8 photos and submit those on your Google Slides, ladies and gentlemen. So have a lovely weekend. This is Friday. You should be watching this on Friday. I will see you on Monday.
Hey kids. This is a tasty burger.